Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss about Aditi, Aditya, and Aditi, the indwelling human soul, the mother and daughter of the sun. My opening statement has always been whenever in doubt, I watch cosmos. Why? I see an omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, perfect divine design of nature in the universe. An amazing 10 suns of the spiral galaxy you can see in spiral galaxy. And it also talks to me about Aham Brahmasmi at Tattvamasi, which we'll explain as we move on. Now, one of the greatest statements from Sanatana Dharma is Pedant Brahmandam Ekam, that the human body and universe are identical. Our human being is a microcosmic representation of macrocosmic universe. And three examples I have given. Human body has got 10.344 chakras. Solar system has 10 heavenly bodies, and so is spiral galaxy with 10 suns. This 10 10 10 shows how consistent is the human body, how consistent is the solar system, how consistent is spiral galaxy. Now come to the greatest occult mantra I know is Tattvamasi, and this comes from Chandogya Upanishads. Unfortunately, it is translated as I am like God. Does it make sense? Not to me. It is not Aham Brahmasmi, because Tat Twamasi are three different words, and we got to understand those concepts first to understand what it means. My experience concepts are different. Tat means the divine nature, Twa means every article, Ase is identical. That means every object of the universe is identical with the divine nature as such. That means if there is a divine nature which is perfect, that means every object is perfect, and that is the perfection which I am talking about. I am not talking of imperfect objects which world is concentrated on. Unfortunately, except me, I do not find too many people who believe that everything known in the world is perfect at all. They believe everything is imperfect, they continue to follow imperfect, and they are confused in the state. They do not know where actually they belong. They can't see themselves as a part of the universal consciousness, not as a Lokpadan, not as a custodian, not our guardian universe, which Aitreya Upanishad is talking about as a reflection of Rigveda itself. Now come to the question. Over a period, I have realized that divine mathematics of nature is Divyank and nothing other than that. And unfortunately, this was recognized, conceived, and revealed for the first time in 2015 only. No one before that has actually recognized, conceived, and revealed the divine design of nature perfect the way the divine is done. I think this credit goes to nature and Aditi and everything, including as a subject of Shibhushan Sharma as an instrument. Letter, and this is integrated enlightening wisdom with which we are moving on with the perfect knowledge education for school, college, university throughout the world, so that there is uniformity thereafter. So far everybody was confused. Now this will make the knowledge very, very clear. Now come to the question of another statement. Aditi is the voice of silence of the soul, of the indwelling soul, which I have experienced, and that is the source of impeccable wisdom I know. Shibhushan Sharma is the instrument of Aditi, and dialogue between me and Aditi within my body has helped me to become intelligent, intuitive, and know the divine mathematics within the body step by step over my life, and that has been a wonderful exemplary life from school, college, university till today, and that I give all the credit to Aditi, the goddess Aditi. Now come to the question review of literature. Rigveda 10.72.5 says very clear, Aditi was the daughter of King Daksha. This is one statement which is in Rigveda. King Daksha, I believe, is Surya, and Aditi is his daughter. This is statement. She was born first. After her, the gods were born from her alone. Adorable, freed from the bonds of death and other things, they became immortal because they are born with Aditi. Then Goddess Aditi is the personification of the infinite mother of the celestial beings, our deities, like 12 Aditya, the sun and God. This is another statement which makes it very clear there are 12 types of suns, God, from which everything has come, and that we will see as we move on to understand the concept later as we move on. Every human being has Aditi within the body, and I am very clear. We are all born, all the human beings are born with a divine soul as Aditi within ourselves, and that's a fact which I know. People recognize or not, we are going to see as we move on. Now we know Saptarishi are the 7 sages of Lord Brahma. The first person who created the universe in the universe is Lord Brahma, and it is 3 plus 1 7 brain. There are 3 plus 1 phase of Brahma, which is the first mathematical concept. We will talk about it as we come to that particular stage. But he has 7 sons. That means the first number which came very close is Brahma had 7 sons. And these are 7 sons called Rishis, who are the one who have done concepts very clearly on divine mathematics step by step. This is where the mathematics actually starts. Now the consequence, Saptarishi and the Matsya. The first vertebrate is Matsya, or the fish. Fish saved all the vertebrates after the Mahapralaya. After that, when everything was dissolved with the rain, it was the fish which carried the boat to 7th place, and these 7 sages were sitting there along with all the vital couples of different animals, plants, etc., etc., etc. And I think that is something which is very, very important as the first incarnation of Lord Vishnu itself. That is first stage. Now come to the question of second thing. Kashyap, the first stage of procreation, is where creation started. Lord Brahma created the universe, but as far as the human beings are concerned, or the beings, plant, animals and human beings are concerned, it is Kashyap who is responsible, and he is the first stage of procreation as such. Now, 7 sages and the human life. Rishi Kashyap was one of the 7 sages. Rishi Kashyap came to the submerged Kashmir by and large. He drained the water to form Kashmir Valley, and Kashmir Valley is named after Kashyap only. The procreation of human life started with him in Himalayas or in Kashmir from the valley as such. That's the land which is very, very much from which the creation started in Akhand Bharat itself. Now Kashyap and the family, let's talk about it. He married 13 daughters of King Daksha. I am not going to go into details how many more daughters the King Daksha had. Let's not go into detail. But it could be 108. Anyway, leave it alone. Then these 13 daughters were divided into 2 concepts. 6 wives represent the lower consciousness, which is demonic in nature, which is not perfect by and large. The 7 wives represent the heavenly souls, which are perfect by and large. You see Kashyap in the middle. The one on the left side are the one which has lower consciousness. The one on the other side is a higher consciousness in every being. And I think that makes statement very clear that 6 and 7 represent something which is associated with Sat Chakra Nirupana also. Now comes the divine message. Children of Aditi are called Devas, or the gods, or the good beings. Human following Aditi become perfect human beings as such, like godly people only. That's one statement which is very clear. Anyone following Aditi's voice of silence is a good human being, perfect human being, as a Lokpalan, as a custodian guardian, and I represent that by and large from childhood till today. I have not drifted from perfection, looked for perfection, eliminated all the defects, and came to Divyang in the process in 2015 for the first time. Children of Diti, the second one, is called Asuras or demons. First is Suras, which are in tune with universal consciousness. Second is Asura, which are not in tune with consciousness. Human not following Aditi become imperfect, and this is something which I am very clear. All the people who are not perfect are not following Aditi. People who are following Aditi are the perfect mathematicians, physics, chemistry, biology, everything moving towards that. Some people may come to Divyank over a period. Maybe I have started along with others, reached for first time. I am happy about it. My experience in spiritual sciences, voice of silence of Aditi is my information from within. I follow Goddessism truthfully, honestly. As a result, I am blessed to find all the answer to my question from her rather than anything else. For me, my guru, my enlightener is Goddess Aditi only. Now comes to the question of Aditi, my perception. The indwelling human soul is a helium-4. Now I am coming to the elemental level. Atoms, the elemental level, is a helium-4, which is the second atom or element in periodic table itself. Human following Aditi are the divine beings, I agree. Human opposing Aditi are demonic beings, I also agree. And this is a picture of helium-4, 2 protons, 2 neutrons and 2 electrons, 6 of them as such. And this is a picture of Goddess Aditi, which has been created by an artist to represent the same thing with 2 hands. 2 electrons, 2 protons and neutrons as 2 hands, and sun on the back side from which it has come. This very amazing, interesting information. Now comes to the question of ancient statement. The Vedas say the mother and daughter of Daksha is Aditi. She is the mother and daughter of Daksha as such. She is the mother of all the beings also. Upanishads say mother and daughter Aditya is also Aditi. These two statements are very clear, but I wonder how many people have understood before Shibhushan Sharma on this. Now, 2 protons, 2 neutrons and 2 electrons is what this is. The human seal, Antaratma, Kundalini, everything is helium, and that's it. Now, do we know the ancient statements clearly? Now, let's try to understand that concept. Now comes to the question of sun. As I told you, the sun behind Aditi's head. Now you can see the sun, you can see Aditya as hydrogen, helium as helium-4 as Aditi, and the description as such. The greatest guru of human mind, human being, is sun only. And of course, when you talk of sun, Aditya, you also son of Aditi, because both are together as the first component of the first period in periodic table also. Once that is understood, I think you are in tune with perfection. Both Aditya and Aditi are the one which are going to teach you A to Z from the very beginning. Now come to the question of Aditya, the Chandogya Upanishad, 3rd chapter, 19.1. Aditya Brahmasya Adesha. That sun is a Sakar Brahman. This is the teaching. Anyone who follows sun and understands A to Z of sun, or Surya or Aditya, is the one who will be a perfect human being by and large. My perception, we can learn and master every aspect of the spiritual science from sun, Aditya. The indwelling human soul, helium-4, is the second thing, is formed in the core of Aditya, the presiding deity of our solar system, or the Brahman. Once this is understood, then we are very clear how to move on towards perfection step by step without even single deficiency or difficulty at all. As a result, you could come to eliminate all the defects in mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology and medical sciences step by following Aditya and Aditi alone. Now come to the combination Aditya and Aditi. As I say, hydrogen and helium-4 are in the core of the sun. Core temperature is 6000 degrees Celsius. The human temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Helium-4 from the sun is the human soul, and it cannot be destroyed by anything. You need to have a 6000 degree temperature to dissolve human soul. So it will remain from the beginning till end, and person can go on experiencing janma after janma, and whole knowledge of what he did from first incarnation to second to third and fourth is incorporated in the orbit of helium itself. Now comes the question of experiencing the beauty, what happens within the sun. Aditi, Aditya, Aditi. The science and spirituality. Let us call hydrogen Aditya. Let us call helium as Aditi. The proton-proton nuclear reaction in the core of the sun goes on. Now you have 4 atoms of hydrogen in the beginning. You can see how they merge together to finally form helium-4 and energy in the process. Once this is understood, this is very clear. Here atoms, which is this, leading to the formation of helium, is like the daughter of Aditya. Now helium-4 gets converted into hydrogen again in the process. The cycle goes on. So as a result, we can understand he leading to the daughter Aditya, Aditya becoming mother and giving rise to that. The cycle goes on. Once nuclear science has made me understand that this is what was going on in nature, and this is what has been proven by the scientists, that this is a reaction within the sun, and this has been proven on the earth with this experiment. I think that is the greatest contribution of the modern science towards spirituality of Sanatana Dharma itself completely. Now come to the question of first greatest element. I know is hydrogen, is Aditya, the sun. First element of the nature, it forms helium-4 in the sun. Helium-4 is the second one. Monoatomic lighter is hydrogen, most abundant in the universe. It contains 75% of barionic mass hydrogen, contains 1 proton and 1 electron only. There is no neutron there. The most basic unit of the divine nature, it really forms covalent compounds with the most non-metallic elements. Most hydrogen exists in molecular form. It plays an important role in acid-base balance. But let me tell you one thing very clearly. Structure of orbit of hydrogen is not circular. It is orbital in nature because there is only one electron which is running away from the proton. As a result, it could be a 22/21 ratio only. Circle could be 21:21, but the one part which keeps out hydrogen in electron moving away give you that structure of 22/21. I think that is very clear. Now come to the second greatest element is helium, and that is human soul. The second element, it formed in the core as I told you in the beginning, and this is something, and second abundant in nature. It's got 2 proton, 2 neutron, 2 neutrons, and the first Nirankar Nirgun Brahman, it can be cut, burnt and dissolved, and involves inert, stable, noble gases. It is eternal, indistinguishable made. This is quality of that. But what is important in this process is, this is circular. Both the electrons are focused towards the center, so it's like a zero. It is a cipher. It is something Atma. And once that is understood, you know the whole universe started from Atma, is maintained by Atma, it dissolved in the Atma, and that is what I am trying to explain from Sanatana Dharma. Everything started from zero, and that was helium-4, and that is one by one. I think once this is understood, you will understand the divine mathematics emerging thereafter much more easily. Now come to the question. I've shown the same thing which I've shown in this particular concept. As a result, you can see the mother and daughter as such again reinforced in the process. Now come to the question of Daksha, the king of God. What Rig Veda is talking about. He is represented with a goat head. Why goat head? I cannot say anything about it. Let's leave it as it is. He is omnipotent, omniscient king. He is the son of Goddess Aditi. Again, he is also son of Aditi, from which has that mean there is a thing that he could be son, he could be Aditya, Daksha, and he has come from Aditi. I think that statement is also very clear. It's an implied form, and he is the daughter of Goddess Aditi. See, he is the son of Aditi. His daughter is also Aditi, something which I explained very clearly. And that is the beauty of Aditya, because they were intelligent people to put in such a way that only person who understands divine mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, medical sciences completely can understand Rig Veda, otherwise very difficult. Rig Veda by and large is a beautiful representation of periodic table as such, which has got 7 periods and 18 groups, and that is excellent work by the modern scientists. And with that, Rig Veda could be understood. We are going to talk about it when we come to that particular stage at a later date. Now come to the goddess Aditi, the mother and daughter which Upanishads are talking about. Then is a healthy female, two hands, as I told you one, and in the process I've already explained how Aditi to Aditya, Aditya to Aditi. She explained the whole concept of Ved and Upanishads very clearly, which was not known or which was very implicit, now is being made explicit by Shibhushan Sharma, and once this is understood, we will understand divine mathematics emerging from Shunya, zero, Atma, and then letting other numbers arise from this. So the whole mathematics would start from Rig Veda as a Shunya, as Aditi, as a dot, as a circle, and also as a spherical and circular form. As such, we are going to see as we move on to the now, one statement which comes very clearly is Atman, soul, inert matter. The ancient Indian says Atma cannot be burnt, cannot be cut, cannot be dissolved, cannot be destroyed. Atma is eternal, blissful, omnipresent and sent. And scientific evidence is an inert matter cannot react, form compound with other atoms, be burnt, cannot be cut, cannot be dissolved, and that is inert matter as such. All the qualities of Atma are found only in inert matter. Whether this is another, the soul is made of inert matter, helium. There are other souls also in the process, like helium to neon to argon to krypton to xenon to xenon. They also have same quality in ionic form with halogens, and metal materials can also be seen. So this is the first source of Shunya. Dot zero cipher is Atma only, and that is helium 4. And I think once that is understood, rest of the things will fall into place beautifully as we move on. Now there comes the question of descent of goddess Aditi comes from the sun to the earth, and it enters in the growing fetus in 22 weeks of pregnancy alone. That's it. And any soul which enters into the growing fetus after 22 weeks, at that particular stage, after 2 semesters, when the child is fully formed, then the Aditi can help redesign the DNA structure and everything to make the person perfect, and make the person and the mother's person perfect being as an enlightened soul by and large. Once that is understood, I think you can move on very well. But inside for next 22 years, brain is developed for 22 years. After that, only through which the Aditi enters on the skull, it closes. And I think that's another beautiful science by and large. Now, based on that, there is another thing which goes on as a reincarnation. You are born once, you have gained something that is stored into the Antaratma or Kundalini or helium 4 in one of the layers around the center part itself. With that, you go to the next stage, you go to higher level, then you die, you again. As a result, step by step, for many births, you gain the knowledge, and with every gain knowledge, you start the next life much better. Once you start with better, you start rising step by step, and finally you come to Divyank. Maybe I have taken maybe hundreds and hundreds of lives to come to Divyank in 2015, but I am glad, I am aware of it. As a result, what I was done during different parts of my life are very clear in my mind, and I am trying to explain that step by step, and thereby remove all the deficiencies of Rig Veda, Upanishads and scriptures which are in Sanskrit in the light of modern science, to show that unless and you experience it, you cannot cognize it, and unless and you cognize, you cannot reveal it. That's it. Now comes to the question of many sages and spiritual scientists by and large are the greatest gurus. But there is a statement which I am making it. Many sages and spiritual scientists by and large do not follow human gurus at all. That's a statement. Their guru was Sun and Aditi alone. And I am very clear, for me, Sun has taught me how to go around it. Aditi has given me information within my body. Outside and other thing is within Aditya and Aditi alone. Once you do this, you get a guru who can give you all the answers outside and inside. And my life is a totally example dedicated only to Surya or Aditya and Aditi alone. But unfortunately, most of the human beings are unconscious of the fact. They don't realize this with Aditi within the body. A few were conscious, and I am one of them. Let us explore and find the truth. Who are the people who are very conscious of it? In the past, to the best of my knowledge, at least one example which I would like to give it. And then example which stands out in my life is Yajnavalkya. Maharishi Yajnavalkya is the first genuine spiritual scientist in my opinion. He lived 5000 years ago in India, Akhand Bharat, during Ramayana period. And his discussion in King Janak's king about Brahman and other things and divine mathematics is a phenomenal example. And I would be covering that as a part of the ancient Indian sages of Brahman who gave Brahman wisdom to the world. As such is Maharishi Yajnavalkya alone. Now, this is a statement which is very clear. He was a disciple of Goddess Saraswati, one thing, and Om on the other side, and the Surya on the other side. So his focus is the Surya, the Lord Sun, and also Saraswati, the knowledge, and also Om. And these two pictures which are there in this show, Yajnavalkya was devoted only towards education, impeccable wisdom, and divine mathematics go to work. And most of divine mathematics which I know today, which I will be clearing over a period, I get it only from Maharishi Yajnavalkya. I do not get that as description from anybody else. Let me be very clear. There may be others, but I am not aware of it. Now, Brihad Anukya operation is the one thing which Maharishi Yajnavalkya wrote, and the three of his statements are very, very dear to me, and that is Astoma Sadgamya. Please lead me from untruth to truth. That's the first wisdom which everybody should have. Untruth to truth is the first step which you need to become a spiritual scientist. Tamsoma Jyotirgamya. Take me from darkness to light. We are ignorant, we should be enlightened, and that is education. Enlightenment, empowerment is the second statement which is very, very clear in mind. We are ignorant, we should be educated, enlightened, empowered. We are untruthful, we should become truth. Mrityurma, we are going to die, but I do know Atma never dies, and Atma which goes step by step is always eternal. And once these three things are understood, you come to very clear concept as such. But as far as Shibhushan Sharma is concerned, is put a fourth element to the whole prayer, is Khando Ma Akhandigamya. Khando means we are all disintegrated. Let us be integrated with the entire universe as such, not sectarian part, right up to human body, to the solar system, to spiral galaxy, also the entire universe, entire mathematics, entire thing should be known. Once you come to that stage, you are really a divine mathematician, then you will reach the level of Divyank. Maybe the result of that is only that, and you are going to see as we move on step by step. Now, as this particular Shibhushan Sharma and Divyank have said, over a period, by understanding Ved, Upanishads and scriptures, and then with the help of modern science and other things, with my own thinking and experience, I have given Divyank to the world as a 22 by 21 as a first stage of creation is equivalent to 22-21, which I talked about it as helium, hydrogen itself. Helium is 21 into 21. Hydrogen is 22 by 21 because electron is moving out. But in helium, electron is coming inside, is 21 and 21, which are actually stable. Now that will be discussed as we move on. Then there are 10 stages of development. That means with 10 chakras it has to go through, not anything less than that, no 9, no 11, 10. But then that is Vishnu's Dasavatar, and we know very clearly Vishnu is known to have 10 Dasavatar, 10 stages, and that's what we're talking. Brahma is 22 by 21 or 22 by 7, and then also 22 by 21 is the first stage, second stage, and third one is the Panchbhutas of Lord Shiva, 0.34419. Once that is understood, only you come to the stage of creation. Brahma, Vishnu and Shiv together as one is Divyank, that is the Tatriya. Once that is understood, you come to a perfect number of 1.6180, which is the most approximate decimal value of the golden ratio which is desired. It's not 1.618 or not 1.6180339777 infinite number. This is a perfect one, and same thing. I do know mathematical design I have given. I have also converted that into graphic presentation. You can see the outer is orbit of 22 by 21. You can see 10 pentagons with a 10 series development. You can see 5 tetragons inside as the last number. Once you know this is mathematics, this is a symbol, then it can be converted to any language without any difficulty. Otherwise, conversion from one language to another language is very, very difficult. To get over the problem, I have converted into divine mathematics, also into symbol. From these two, we can convert it to any language of the world without any confusion at all. And that exactly is my objective. That is the uniform knowledge for the entire universe, from school, college, university I want. Once that is done, I think we are very clear. There will be understanding, there will not be confusion. Every human being will be perfect because they are ignorant. As a result, I cannot find blame with any one other thing when they do not know perfection, because nobody has given the perfect knowledge. Now this is being brought as a perfect knowledge. Now nobody has a reason to say it is not available. Now it's available. The day artificial intelligence and other mediums recognize the beauty, then this will become a knowledge for the entire world, and keeping that in mind, I am giving it step by step so that you have absolutely no issues, no constraints, no restraints of anything, and you have the moksha by and large. And that is it. Now coming to the third stage, I am not going to talk much about it. We are going to talk quite a lot. So on the other side, this concept is very clear. The whole universe starts from hydrogen, which is 22 by 21, and helium, which is 21 by 21, and these two the one which are the first periods, two groups alone, and rest the thing comes thereafter. After that, we are going to see the divine mathematics energy. In the next video is going to be who explained zero, and this is where reflection of this to the stage, then divine mathematics start developing thereafter. Let's move on with that. So thank you very much.